My family ruined my graduation party because my brother wanted attention. So I disappeared that night and watched their business collapse without the $20,000 I'd been secretly investing monthly. Before we move forward, please show some love by subscribing and share your location in the comments. I love seeing where our family is watching from. I stood in the corner of the banquet hall watching my mother throw her arms around my brother Terrell while my graduation cake, the one I'd paid for myself, sat untouched with someone else's name hastily scrawled across it. My name was Shanice, but you wouldn't know it from looking around the room. Every banner, every decoration, every damn speech had been hijacked for Terrell's impromptu engagement announcement. "Baby, this is such wonderful news," Mama shrieked, her voice drowning out the jazz quartet I'd hired with my own money from my tech job at Morrison & Associates. I'd graduated summa cum laude from Howard University with a degree in computer science. 4 years of 18-hour days, countless all-nighters, and maintaining a 3.97 GPA while working full-time. Today was supposed to be mine. I'd invited 40 people, rented this venue for $3,000 and personally designed every detail. But 20 minutes into my party, Terrell strutted in with his girlfriend Keisha and dropped to one knee. Just like that, my celebration became their engagement party. "Shanice, don't be selfish," my father Marcus said when he caught my expression. "Your brother is starting his life. This is important. And my graduation isn't?" The words came out sharper than I intended. "Girl, you're always so dramatic," my Aunt Denise called out, laughing. "It's just a party. Terrell's getting married." Something inside me snapped. Not broke, snapped. Like a rubber band stretched too far. I looked around at my family, at the guests who'd come for me but were now taking engagement photos, at the future I'd worked so hard for being treated like background noise. I pulled out my phone and opened my banking app. The family business account stared back at me. $20,000. Every month. For 3 years. Nobody knew about my contributions. It was time they found out what happened when you made me invisible. Let me take you back 18 months to explain how deeply I'd been played. It was January 2023, and I was sitting in my parents' living room in Southeast DC when Daddy pulled me aside. His barbershop, Marcus's Classic Cuts, was drowning in debt after a kitchen fire in the soul food restaurant next door. The one Mama ran, destroyed half their shared building. "Baby girl, I know you're doing well at that tech company," he said, his voice cracking in a way I'd never heard before. "We're about to lose everything. The insurance barely covered the repairs. We need $40,000 to stay afloat, update equipment and keep staff on payroll." I saw the desperation in his eyes. These were the people who raised me, who worked 2 jobs each to keep me in private school, who drove me to every robotics competition in high school. I made $75,000 a year at 21 years old. More than both my parents combined. "How much do you need monthly?" I asked. "If we had even 10,000 we could." "I'll give you 20. Every month. Direct deposit." Daddy's eyes filled with tears. He hugged me so tight I couldn't breathe. "We'll pay you back, Shanice. I swear on everything." I set up an automatic transfer that night. $20,000, first of every month from my account to theirs. I told myself it was an investment in family, in legacy, in the people who'd invested in me. I never told anyone. Not my friends, not my boyfriend Cameron, not even my younger sister Diamond. It felt wrong to broadcast it, like I'd be doing it for praise rather than love. But here's what I didn't know. While I was silently bankrolling their survival, Terrell was getting credit for everything. 27 years old, still living at home, working part-time as a social media manager for the barbershop. A job that meant posting Instagram stories twice a week. "Your brother has such a good head for business," Mama would say. If only I'd known the truth sooner. Terrell had always been the favorite, but I told myself it didn't matter. He was charming in that effortless way some people are, quick with a joke, always knowing the right thing to say, the type of man who could walk into a room and make everyone feel like they'd found their best friend. Me. I was the quiet one, the nerdy one, the one with her nose always in a book or a laptop screen. Growing up, when Taro got a B, it was a celebration. When I got an A, it was expected. When he made the junior varsity basketball team, Daddy took the whole family to Dave and Buster's. When I won the regional science fair, Mama said, "That's nice, baby," and went back to watching TV. I learned early not to need validation. I learned to be self-sufficient, to find worth in my own achievements, to build a life where I didn't wait for anyone's approval. It made me strong, but it also made me invisible in my own family. The business had been struggling for years before the fire. Daddy's barbershop had 6 chairs but could barely keep 3 barbers on payroll. Mama's restaurant, Denise's Kitchen, named after her sister, which should have been my first red flag, served incredible food but had management issues. They were always behind on something: rent, supplies, utilities. After the fire, I watched them rebuild with my money, watched the relief on their faces as checks cleared, as vendors got paid, as staff returned. And I watched Terrell take credit. "Man, I really turned this place around," he said one Sunday dinner. "For months into my secret contributions. Got us on social media, brought in new customers, streamlined operations." Everyone nodded. My father clapped him on the shoulder. "That's my son. Always knew you'd find your calling." I bit my tongue so hard I tasted blood. But I told myself, it's not about credit. It's about family. Keep your head down. Stay humble. Do the right thing. I should have known better. Humility doesn't protect you from being used. 3 months before graduation, I told my family I wanted to celebrate. I'd worked my ass off while funding their lifestyle, and I wanted one day, just one, where I was the center of attention. Mama seemed excited initially. "Of course, baby. We'll have a big party, invite everyone. Your graduation is a huge accomplishment." I should have seen the lack of enthusiasm in her eyes, but hope is a powerful drug. I started planning immediately, booking the banquet hall at the Marriott in Northwest DC, hiring caterers, designing invitations. I told them I'd handle everything. I wanted it to be perfect, wanted to prove I could create something beautiful. Cameron, my boyfriend of 2 years, helped me plan. He worked as a financial analyst and understood the pressure I was under, though he didn't know about the money I was sending home. "You deserve this," he said, kissing my forehead as we reviewed seating charts in his apartment. "You've worked harder than anyone I know." But 2 weeks before graduation, Terrell started acting strange. He'd show up at the barbershop when I visited, asking pointed questions about the party. "So this is really fancy, huh? Must be costing you a fortune. Who all's coming? You inviting the whole neighborhood?" "Just people who matter to me," I replied, not catching the edge in his voice. The week before graduation, Keisha, his girlfriend of 8 months, started appearing everywhere. At family dinners, at the barbershop, always whispering to Mama and my Aunt Denise. They'd stop talking when I entered rooms, exchange glances I couldn't quite read. "You're being paranoid," Cameron said when I expressed concern. "Your family loves you. This is your moment." The night before graduation, Mama called. "Baby, Tara wants to make a speech at your party tomorrow. You know, about how proud he is of his little sister. Isn't that sweet?" Every instinct screamed no, but I couldn't articulate why. "Sure, Mama. That's fine." I should have trusted my gut. I should have known that in my family I was never allowed to shine alone. The party started beautifully. I wore a gold dress that made me feel like royalty, my locks styled in an elegant updo with gold cuffs that caught the light. Cameron arrived early, looking sharp in a navy suit, carrying a bouquet of sunflowers. My favorite. My best friends from Howard, Jasmine and Trey, showed up with a custom photo book of our 4 years together. "Girl, you did it," Jasmine whispered, hugging me tight. "This is gorgeous." The banquet hall glowed. I'd chosen purple and gold, Howard's colors, with elegant centerpieces and a slideshow of my journey playing on screens around the room. My graduation photos were everywhere. Me in my cap and gown, me presenting at tech conferences, me receiving academic awards. For once I was the story. Then Terrell arrived. He walked in with Keisha at 7:15, 45 minutes late, wearing a suit I'd never seen before. Expensive, tailored, probably $1,500. Keisha wore a white dress. White. To someone else's celebration. But I pushed down my irritation. "Family," I reminded myself. "Be gracious." At 7:30 I was about to give my speech when Terrell tapped his glass. The room fell silent. "Hey everyone, sorry to interrupt, but I have something important to say." He pulled Keisha forward and my stomach dropped. "Y'all know my baby sister Shanice is graduating today, and that's amazing. But life doesn't stop for anybody, right? And I figured since we're all here, since family is gathered, this would be the perfect time to share our news." He dropped to one knee right there in front of my graduation cake and pulled out a ring. The room erupted. Mama screamed. Aunt Denise started crying. Daddy pulled out his phone to record. And just like that, my graduation party became Terrell's engagement celebration. I stood frozen while everyone rushed toward them, my moment evaporating like smoke. Cameron found me in the bathroom 20 minutes later, staring at my reflection. My makeup was still perfect, but my eyes were dead. "Shanice, I'm so sorry. That was completely out of line. Did you see anyone notice?" I asked quietly. "Did anyone come looking for me? Ask where I went." His silence was answer enough. "My own graduation party, Cam. I paid for every inch of this place. And nobody even noticed when I disappeared. Let's leave. We'll go somewhere just us. Celebrate the right way." But I couldn't move. Something was calcifying inside me, turning soft tissue into stone. I returned to the party and watched my family celebrate Terrell and Keisha. Watched Mama cut my graduation cake and hand out slices while people congratulated the happy couple. Watched my father give a toast about both his children reaching major milestones today, as if mine and Terrell's were equivalent. Aunt Denise grabbed my arm as I walked past. "Shanice, don't be bitter. This is beautiful. Your brother found love. And I earned a degree," I said flatly. "Girl, degrees are a dime a dozen. Marriage is special." I excused myself, walked to my car and sat in the parking garage. My phone buzzed with a reminder I'd set weeks ago. Update family business contribution records. I'd been meticulously documenting every transfer, every deposit, keeping spreadsheets like the data analyst I was. I pulled up my banking app and did the math. $20,000 monthly for 18 months. $360,000. More than $350,000 I'd given these people who couldn't even let me have one night. My fingers were shaking as I opened my notes app and started typing. Not from sadness, from clarity. I'd been invisible while funding their entire existence. They'd turned my celebration into background noise while living off my salary. And Terrell? Terrell was getting married, probably expecting me to pay for that too. Not anymore. I didn't return to the party. Instead, I drove to Cameron's apartment in Columbia Heights, walked inside and said 5 words that changed everything. "I need to disappear tonight." He looked at me like I'd lost my mind. Maybe I had. "What are you talking about?" I showed him my banking records, every transaction, every deposit. Watched his face shift from confusion to shock to anger. "Shanice, you've been giving them $20,000 a month? For 18 months. And they don't even know. They think Terrell saved the business with his social media genius and hard work. That's insane. You need to tell them. No. The word came out like iron. I need to stop. Immediately. And I need to not be reachable when they figure it out. I spent that night methodically dismantling my availability. I changed my phone number, kept the old phone but turned off notifications. I told my job I needed to work remotely from our San Francisco office for a month. A transfer I'd been offered twice but always declined because of family. I booked a one-way flight for the next morning. Cameron thought I was being rash, but he helped anyway because that's who he was. "What about your apartment?" he asked. "It's a month-to-month lease. I'll handle it remotely. I need distance, Cam. I need to not be the person they can just expect things from." The most important action came at 2 in the morning. I logged into my bank and canceled the automatic transfer to my parents' business account. Then I sent one email to the business's bookkeeper, a woman named Patricia who'd always been kind to me. "Patricia, effective immediately, I'm discontinuing my monthly contributions to Marcus's Classic Cuts and Denise's Kitchen. Please note this in your records. All deposits from my account will cease as of June 1st. Best regards, Shanice." I didn't explain. Didn't justify. Just stopped. By sunrise, I was at Reagan National Airport, boarding a flight to San Francisco with 2 suitcases and a heart that felt simultaneously broken and free. The first week in San Francisco was surreal. I stayed in corporate housing in the Mission District, worked 12-hour days on a new project, and ignored the growing number of calls on my old phone. I'd check it once daily, watching the voicemails pile up like a car crash in slow motion. Day 3. "Shanice, where are you? Your mama's worried sick. Call us back." "Daddy." Day 5. "Girl, you being childish. Call your family." "Aunt Denise." Day 7. "The bank said some payment didn't go through. You need to check on that." Mama, casual like she was mentioning the weather. Day 10. "Shanice, this isn't funny anymore. There's a problem with the business account. We need you to call Patricia back." Daddy voice strained. Day 14. "Where the hell are you? The bank says you canceled the transfers." "What transfers? Call me now." Mama screaming. I listened to each voicemail with the detachment of someone watching a documentary about strangers. Cameron called my new number daily, worried. "They're posting on Facebook looking for you. Your mom says you've been kidnapped. Tell them I'm fine. Tell them I'm safe. Tell them nothing else. Shanice, they're your family." "Are they?" "Because family shows up for each other. Family doesn't hijack your graduation. Family doesn't take credit for your sacrifice." By week 3, Patricia called my new number. How she got it, I never knew. "Shanice, I think you should know what's happening. The business is in trouble. Without your deposits, they can't cover payroll, supplies, or rent. They're asking me where the money was coming from all this time. I told them I'd signed an NDA with you and couldn't disclose the source." "You didn't sign an NDA, Patricia." "They don't know that. But honey, they're about to lose everything. Your daddy's crying in the shop every day." I felt something twist in my chest but held firm. They made their choice. Week 4, Diamond called. My younger sister, 23, had always been caught between me and Terrell, loving us both, trying to keep peace. "Shanice, please. I know you're mad, but you need to come home. Everything's falling apart." "What's falling apart, Diamond?" "The business. They can't make rent. 3 barbers quit because paychecks bounced. The restaurant's getting health code violations because they can't afford repairs. Mama and Daddy are fighting constantly. And nobody understands why. Ask them about the transfers." Silence. Then, "What transfers?" "Patricia can show you the records. Every month, first of the month, $20,000. Ask them where that money came from." I heard her sharp intake of breath. "Shanice, how long?" 18 months. Do the math." Another pause. Oh my God. That's over $300,000. 360,000 to be exact. And they never mentioned it, never thanked me, never even acknowledged it. I didn't know. Shanice, they told everyone Terrell was managing the finances, that his social media work brought a new business, that he took out a loan. Terrell took out a loan? With what credit? That man has a 580 credit score and 23,000 in credit card debt. Diamond's voice cracked. They lied to us. About everything. No, baby girl. They lied to everyone but each other. They knew exactly where that money came from. They just didn't want to admit their daughter, their quiet, nerdy, invisible daughter, was the one keeping them afloat. It was easier to give Terrell credit than acknowledge I'd become more successful than they ever imagined. What do I do? Whatever you want. But I'm not coming back. Not until they own the truth. That night, Diamond sent me a video. Family meeting at my parents' house. The whole truth coming out. I watched my mother's face crumble when Patricia showed her the deposit records with my name on them. Watched my father realize what he'd done. Watched Terrell try to deflect, saying he helped manage the money once it arrived. Watched Diamond stand up and say, "Y'all took her graduation party and didn't even know she was paying your bills. That's sick." The business lasted another 3 weeks before the inevitable happened. Marcus's Classic Cuts closed first. Couldn't make July rent, couldn't keep barbers, couldn't maintain equipment. Daddy tried to get a loan but was rejected everywhere. His credit was destroyed from the previous fire, and without my monthly infusions he had no cash flow to show lenders. Denise's kitchen held on slightly longer, but barely. Mama had to let go of her entire kitchen staff except one cook. The menu shrank from 40 items to 12. Reviews on Yelp started appearing, not like it used to be. Quality has really dropped. What happened to this place? What happened was me. I happened. Or rather, I stopped happening. Cameron flew out to San Francisco on week 6. We sat in Dolores Park watching the fog roll in and he held my hand. How do you feel? Guilty. Angry. Relieved. Powerful. Terrible. Free. All of it at once. Your Aunt Denise is telling everyone you abandoned the family. That you're selfish and ungrateful. I laughed, bitter and sharp. Of course she is. It's easier than admitting they've been living off my labor for over a year while treating me like background noise. Terrell postponed the wedding. No money. Good. Maybe Keisha will see who she's really marrying. Cameron was quiet for a moment. Your mom wants to talk. She's been calling my number since Diamond told her I knew how to reach you. What does she want to say? That she's sorry. That she didn't realize how much you were doing. That she took you for granted. He paused. That she needs you. There was not, I love you. Not we were wrong. Not you deserved better. Just, I need you. They don't want me, Cam. They want my bank account. There's a difference. Maybe. Or maybe they're finally seeing what they lost. They didn't lose me. They never had me. Not really. They had a resource they could exploit. That's different from having a daughter. I watched the sunset paint San Francisco gold and thought about the girl I'd been 6 weeks ago. Desperate for scraps of recognition, willing to destroy herself financially for people who couldn't even let her have one party. I didn't miss her. 8 weeks after my disappearance, I flew back to DC. Not because they'd convinced me, but because I needed to face this for myself. I needed to look them in the eye and say the things I'd been too afraid to say my entire life. I met them at a coffee shop in Anacostia, neutral ground. Mama, Daddy, Diamond, and, unfortunately, Terrell. No Aunt Denise, which was a small mercy. Mama looked like she'd aged 5 years. Daddy's eyes were hollow. Terrell wouldn't meet my gaze. Only Diamond looked at me with something like understanding. Thank you for coming, Mama started, reaching for my hand. I pulled away. Don't. The word hung in the air like a slap. Mama's face crumpled, but I continued. You don't get to touch me like we're good. Like we're family who loves and respects each other. Not after what you did. Baby, we're sorry, Daddy said. We didn't realize. You didn't realize you'd been living off my money for 18 months? You didn't realize I paid for my own graduation party that you let Terrell hijack? You didn't realize I've been working 70-hour weeks to keep your dreams alive while you gave all the credit to him? I pointed at Terrell, who had the decency to look ashamed. Shanice, we thought the money was from... Mama started. From where? You thought it was magic? You thought $20,000 just appeared in your account every month by coincidence? Or did you just not care to ask because asking would mean acknowledging that your daughter, the one you've ignored and minimized her entire life, was more successful than you ever imagined? Silence. Painful, suffocating silence. Diamond spoke softly. They told everyone Terrell took out a business loan. They let him take credit for saving everything. When the truth came out, half the family stopped talking to them. Good, I said coldly. They should know who they really are. We were wrong, Daddy said, tears streaming. Baby girl, we were so wrong. We took advantage of your kindness. We took you for granted. We let our pride and our favoritism toward your brother blind us to what we were doing to you. You didn't just take me for granted. You erased me. I want the business to fail, I said, and watched them flinch. I want you to feel what it's like to build something and watch it collapse. I want you to understand consequences. Real, material, painful consequences. Shanice, please, Mama whispered. We've lost everything already. No, you've lost my subsidies. There's a difference. You still have each other. You still have your health. You still have options. What you don't have is me as a safety net, and you never will again. I pulled out a folder. I'd prepared for this meeting like a business presentation. I've calculated what you owe me. $360,000 in direct contributions, plus opportunity cost. That money could have been invested and earned returns. Conservative estimate. You owe me $412,000. I have the documentation, the bank records, everything. Daddy's face went pale. We don't have that kind of money. I know. Which is why I'm offering terms. You're going to sign a promissory note. You're going to agree to pay me back $2,000 monthly for the next 15 years. Plus 3% interest. You're going to acknowledge in writing that I funded your business. And you're going to tell everyone, the truth about where the money came from. And if we don't? Terrell spoke for the first time, defensive. I looked at him with contempt I didn't know I could feel for family. Then I sue. And I will win. And you'll lose more than your pride. You'll lose any chance of rebuilding anything. That's harsh, Shanice, he said. You hijacked my graduation party to propose to your girlfriend. You took credit for my sacrifice. You've lived rent-free at 27 while I've been working since 18. You don't get to tell me what's harsh. Diamond put her hand on mine. What do you need from me? Nothing. You're the only one who saw me. The only one who told the truth when it mattered. You're not responsible for their choices. Mama was sobbing now. We love you. We do love you. Maybe. But love without respect is worthless. Love without acknowledgement is invisible. And I'm done being invisible in my own family. They signed the promissory note. All of them, even Terrell. I had it notarized at the coffee shop, legally binding, no escape. Then I left. 6 months later, I'm still in San Francisco. I got promoted to senior software engineer. Salary jumped to $110,000. I'm dating Cameron long distance. He's planning to transfer out here next year. Diamond visits monthly. We're closer than we've ever been. The business closed permanently. Mama found work managing a restaurant in Silver Spring. Daddy's barbering at someone else's shop. Terrell finally moved out, working retail while Keisha rethinks their engagement. They send me $2,000 the first of every month like clockwork. Sometimes there's a note, "We're sorry. We miss you. We're trying." I never respond to the notes, but I cash the checks. Here's what I learned. You can love your family and still refuse to be destroyed by them. You can honor your roots without letting them strangle your branches. You can be generous without being a doormat. And sometimes, the most loving thing you can do is let people face the consequences of taking you for granted. My family ruined my graduation party because they thought I'd always be there, always be the invisible workhorse, always accept the crumbs while Terrell got the cake. They were wrong. I disappeared that night and watched everything collapse. Not because I'm cruel, but because I finally understood my worth. And my worth isn't measured by what I give to people who don't see me. It's measured by what I build for myself with people who recognize my value. The girl who stood invisible at her own party is gone. In her place is a woman who knows that being alone is better than being used, and that the sweetest revenge isn't cruelty. It's living well while the people who doubted you finally understand what they lost. They had me. They lost me. And that's a debt that can never be fully repaid no matter how many checks they write. That's my story. That's my truth. And I'm finally free.